Support for People of Interest is brought to you by Novo Nordisk. Novo Nordisk is fun to say. Say Novo Nordisk. Try it. Novo Nordisk. All together now. Novo Nordisk. Novo Nordisk.
The No Child Left Behind Act was signed into law in 2001 with great fanfare. However, when it expired in 2007, it had very few mourners and even fewer suggestions for its replacement. Several organizations have petitioned Congress to rewrite the bill to correct many of its flaws, especially in regards to funding and standardized testing, but so far, no one has stepped up to the plate. That is until now. Recently, U.S. Representative Allison Moore of Ohio has come up with a brand new plan. It's called Certain Children Left Behind. This would judge students not on their academic prowess, but on a series of psychological evaluations that predict the likelihood that these children will grow up to be assholes. Representative Allison Moore, welcome.
Thank you so much.
So, a lot of people have talked about how standardized testing is biased. There's a bias against students who have handicaps. There's a race bias and gender bias. What about the psychological evaluations lacks that bias and really pinpoints the assholes?
Well, you see, there's a big difference between assholes and the rest of the world.
Sure.
You can pinpoint an asshole just kind of by looking at them. Like looking at you.
Sure.
Your tie is very nice. It's red. You put red on blue. Not very asshole. Now, if it were the other way around, you'd be a total douche.
That's fascinating. So you were very involved in the process for coming up with the test to administer children. So you started them at the age of 5.
Yes.
Could you run us through some of the tests that they might take?
Sure. Now, many people don't realize people are born with assholism.
Really?
Yes. A baby comes out, depending on whether the mother holds them immediately or not.
Sure. Okay.
Will pretty much signify. Because no mother wants to hold their asshole babies.
Right.
But they don't really start to show tendencies until around the age of 5. So what we do is we put children in a room, a nice, playful room with numbers and letters on the board, stuffed animals. The kid who talks first is the biggest asshole of the group.
Really?
Yes.
It's fascinating.
Yes. No one asked this child a question. They are offering up their opinions for no reason. An opinion about what? We haven't spoken about anything.
Of course. It's so logical.
Exactly, and most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's a negative opinion about another child.
Ooh.
Yes.
Well, that's definitely a telltale sign.
Yes, it definitely is. And then after that, the next child to engage that child, if they tend to clash, then the child that spoke second usually isn't. But if the child agrees, that child's a dick too.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Obviously. Any child who agrees with the initial asshole is an asshole.
Sure. So now, you're taking the asshole kids and you're putting them in the worst schools in the country.
Yes. Yes, sir.
They're already criminally underfunded. And I understand that you are going to make sure there's plenty of junk food so they become obese and unattractive. To really get that program. Some of your critics saying that they're just going to become bigger assholes, but you feel that this is going to make them less assholes.
Yes, and that is because once they reach their senior year, we put them through the Hunger Games. What happens in the actual Hunger Games.
I have seen
But children fight to the death.
Okay.
Until one comes up the victor. And once they, even if they do win, they're still ostracized.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, Katniss did seem like she was a bit of a bitch.
Katniss was a total bitch.
Oh man. So the good kids, obviously, your other half of the class, going to the grade schools. What do you do with the kids who are not quite assholes, not quite great?
Usually, those kids seem to be from Delaware, so we just keep them in Delaware.
So you're going to start shipping randoms to Delaware.
If they fall into that category.
Because the schools in Delaware are good, but they're not great.
Exactly.
Okay, great. What happens if, in the course of school, you know, you have these children, you have an all-asshole school, and one kid turns out to be good. You know, what are the mechanisms to getting them out and into a good school?
We don't. We just keep them there. Because they failed the test.
Sure.
Usually the test is foolproof, so
You think they're just
don't.
faking it?
Yes. This is a foolproof test.
Sure. And likewise, if you find an asshole in a good school, what do you do to identify them and send them down to the...
Usually we identify them like that, and what we do is we keep them in a holding cell
Okay.
until we can ship them to Gitmo. That's a bit controversial,
Sure.
but
It's still open.
exactly.
You know?
Someone's got to use it, right?
Another thing is people are worried that no teachers are going to want to work at an asshole school. How are we going to get the teachers?
Many criminals, actual criminals,
Oh.
have teaching degrees. And we feel like they have the necessary tools to deal with delinquent assholes.
Oh, okay.
Because they usually are themselves assholes.
Oh, sure.
So we just have, we go to local prisons and recruit there. It really saves on paying teachers. And you know, it works out. Of course, we don't go for pedophiles or
Right.
anything.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously.
Naturally.
Yeah. But, you know, murderers,
Yes.
adult rapists,
Yes.
totally fine.
Exactly.
So I guess my last question is really about the parents. Having spoken to the parents in your constituency and around the country, how do they feel about this? What are they seeing from their end?
Usually, parents of assholes are relieved.
Okay.
They feel like they can't discipline their children. They can't tell their children to just shut the fuck up. You're an asshole. I'm sorry. Can we this one?
We'll get
All
it.
right, thank you. So they feel like this program really helps out, and then the parents whose children are just angels, they love us. They love it. And then Delaware.
Yeah. And again, of course, the students. Have you spoken to any of the students?
No.
Okay. Representative Moore, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Actual support for People of Interest is brought to you by Philly Improv Theater, Philly's home for comedy. In addition to shows every week of the year, PHIT offers classes in improv, sketch, and stand-up. For more information, visit phillyimprovtheater.com.